Hey, Peggy,
Yes.
do you like growing things?
Yes, I do. I've kept a daughter alive for 24 years.
We're not going to be growing kids in this episode.
Okay.
We're going to be growing something else. So stick around and check it out. Well, welcome back to Lockdown Lunacy. I'm so glad you have joined with us today. My name is Rev Dianne.
And I am Rev Peggy. It is so good to have you back with us.
Hey, do you know what today is, Peggy?
I do. It's Thursday.
Can you be a little more specific?
It's National Herb and Spices Day.
Yes, it is National Herb and Spices Day.
Herb.
This is a little running commentary we've had. Do you pronounce this word herbs with an H or herbs with a silent H? Let us know down in the comments.
I'm on the H. And by the way, while you're down there in the comments, click the subscribe and that little bell, ding, 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 for your notifications. We post a video every Thursday, and it's always some fun thing.
I am actually looking forward to today's because we've done something a little bit different. I have done my herb garden here, and I videotaped it. And Peggy has done hers there in Newfoundland and videotaped it. I haven't seen hers. I don't think she's seen mine yet. So it's all going to be a surprise.
Surprise! Today, I'm going to be planting seeds in egg cartons. So what I've done is, the first thing you need to do is to start by taking a skewer and making 4 or 5 little holes in the bottom of all your egg cartons. Not sure if you can see that. Yes, you can. Nice and easy. That'll help for drainage, and I'm placing them on a cooking tray that I've covered with tin foil. I love egg cartons to plant seeds in because you can take them, put some seeds in them. If you're planting them in the garden, you can take them later on and cut each one out and just pop it down in the garden. Or you could just, they're nicely spaced, so you can just take them and plant them right into the garden just like this. So that's why I like to do this, because they're not the styrofoam, they're the cardboard, so they will eventually break down. So I'm going to take each one. I've got holes poked in all of them, as you can see, and I'm going to fill them with potting soil. And I just purchased just regular potting soil from the hardware store, or you can get from your local nursery, just regular potting soil. So I'm going to take each one of these and fill them with soil. Just lift this whole thing up to you. Now, what I have done is I've numbered each one of these like castle peaks. I have 1, this will be this section, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in this little carton, number 7. And I have my packets of seed, and I have them numbered 1 to 7. So I know which row, and each one will be a row. So I'll put number 1, which is dill, I'll put in row 1. So I'll plant 5. I'll probably put a couple of seeds in just so that, they have a chance of growing. So the first one is dill, then the second one will be basil, third one will be mint. I love fresh mint. Parsley. Number 5 will be garlic chives. And my daughter picked these up, and we have a cat, so number 6 is going to be catnip. That's going to be interesting. And then number 7 is going to be thyme. And they're all small seeds, so I do the same thing with each one. So I have that all done. I have all 7 seeds planted in all the rolls. Of course, you can't see them yet because they're not growing. But what I'm going to do now is just take my finger and give it a little, I'll show you in this one, just a little dusting so that I'll make sure that the seeds are all covered in before I give it a water. There, I have them all done, and I have all of the seeds pushed down just a little tiny bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak these for water, or with water. I have a little spray bottle here, so I'm just going to spray them gently all on the top here, okay? And the last thing though I'm going to do before I put these in a nice warm place is I'm going to cover them with saran wrap to make it sort of like a little hothouse or a greenhouse. The little castle spikes on the egg cartons actually creates the perfect environment because the saran wrap is up off of the dirt. You don't want that right down on the dirt, and it gives the seeds a little bit of a space in order to germinate and grow. So now I'm going to put this in a nice warm sunny area indoors because it's going to be an indoor garden, and we'll see you back here once they start to grow. Let's see what happens. Hi everyone, it has been 2 weeks now and my seeds are growing, as you can see here, and I'm about to transplant them now into a mason jar. So the first thing you really need to do, if you're using a bottle has no drainage at the bottom. So it's really important to put in some little stones or marbles or anything that you might have that on hand to provide drainage at the bottom. And then I'm going to take 2 of my little egg carton pods of chives, and I'll pop them down side by side. Put a little soil in on top. Just be careful you don't damage those delicate plants. I'm gonna give them a little water here. You can see how that water just soaks down into those stones at the end. And then you need to put them in a bright sunny spot. And I actually have this that I wasn't using. It was just a basket that I ordered to put toiletries in. You hang it over your door. But I've put 3M tape on my fridge here. As you see, I have 2. Put this up. I'm gonna put these in a nice sunny spot. There you go. And I'm gonna do the rest just exactly the same way. So I'll have probably 6 or 7 over there hanging on my fridge.
So I went to the dollar store and I picked up this garden fence. It actually comes in 5 sections, so I removed the sections from each other, and that was rather simple to do, but I'm only going to use 3, and I needed to cut off these edge pieces that connected them together. I had to wrestle with them, but I persevered. And then what I decided to do, well, I had to figure out how do I want to place them together. I needed spots to hang my pots together. So I took some zip ties and attached them together. Didn't tighten them right away, just so I had a little freedom to move as I needed them to. I ended up using 9 zip ties, and once I got them all done, I tightened them real good and then cut off the ends. Went back and cut a little closer. Now I just put my pots on the hanger to see how they look, and I pull it up and realize I have to change them around from what I thought at first, but I'm thinking they look good. Now I'm going to use these little blocks to give some space from the wall for the planters to hang, but first I need to cut off some of these legs, and I'm going to cut them off and then twist them so it gives me something to hang it up on that I can use to hang it on a nail or whatever. And once that is done, then I start working with the blocks and attaching those. I use some E6000 for a permanent hold, but put some hot glue on it for an immediate hold. And then I realized, oh, I didn't want it on the long side of the block. So take that off, take the hot glue gun or the hot glue off, move the E6000 onto the narrow edge and reattach it. And it sticks. Yay. And then I do that for all 9 of these blocks. I didn't show you them all because you can figure it out. But that's done, and we put that aside, and I wanted to make some labels for my pots because I don't know plants well and I need to be able to tell, so I get out my Cricut and I cut out the names of the herbs that I am going to plant using some silver colored permanent vinyl, so it'll be good for use outside or inside. And I love this machine. I am having so much fun with it. Take it out and I cut. Oh, didn't work. Oh, didn't work. There we go. I need a new X-Acto blade. I burnish down the vinyl so that it's going to stick the way it needs to. And then I weed out the excess. Just like in the garden, weeding is taking out what you don't want there. So I pull it out. Come on, come on, come out of there. There we go. Push down the vinyl again and take out the inside pieces that don't need to be there. And then I am going to use some transfer tape, pull it off the mat, burnish it some more, cut out the individual letter or words for each pot. And there's my pots, and I'm going to clean them with some rubbing alcohol. That just gets rid of any dirt and oils from my hands and whatnot so that the vinyl will adhere perfectly. So it's just a matter of tearing off the transfer tape or the backing tape, and that's not coming off well. Oh, right, I forget. This is how I do it. And then I attach it to the pot and pull off the transfer tape, and there we go. And do that for all 5 of the herb pots. It's just so satisfying when it comes off so easy like that. So if you don't have a Cricut, of course, you could just use little tags or something, or even paint the words on yourself if you have good penmanship. I do not. So anyway, we get all the labels on there, and looks good. Then I got these inserts because I'm always worried about drainage in a pot. I shove them in real good, and then I fill the pots up close to the top with some potting soil, and then put the seeds in. The package said to plant them about 6 millimeters deep, so I put them in, and you may not see it. I think I cut it out that I put soil over top of them as well. And I probably put too many seeds, but hey, we'll know in a couple of weeks. And then I wanted to hang this up instead of putting screws in the wall. So I used some clothesline and tied it with a double knot as tight as I could. However, I may change that to some twine. It was just too elasticy, too much give to it. And then I put the pots on there, holding it while I put the counterbalance one on, and I just love how it looks.
You know, what I love about gardening is the fact that, you know, God has created the universe, the world, the planet on which we reside, and we are to be stewards of it. And that means to be taking care of our environment, taking care of the plants and the animals here. And that's one of the things that I love about growing is to watching things from just little tiny seeds grow up to be these beautiful plants, like dill, for example. I planted some dill and the seeds are so tiny, and yet it grows into this beautiful plant that gives so much flavor to so many foods. I find that fascinating.
And it's a good reminder of faith too.
Mm-hmm.
How Jesus talked about if you have the faith of a mustard seed that starts out so tiny and then grows and reproduces at an exponential rate. What a great reminder of the faith that we need to have and what we can do with that faith in God.
Mm-hmm. I love that little fence. Like, that's just amazing. And those pots, where did you get the pots?
Everything was from the dollar store, with the exception of 1 or 2 packages of the seeds.
Wow.
Everything.
That's impressive.
So, yep. I'm cheap like that.
Yep. And
I love yours. I love the basket on the fridge. That's just ingenious.
Well, it's on the fridge. It's right there for me, ready to use.
Yeah.
But it was things that I wasn't using, like the basket. I didn't order it specifically for this. It was just something that I had, and when I was looking around going like, what can I use? I'm like, a basket with a couple of little 3M hooks, so I can take the hooks on and off, right?
Yeah.
And and maybe I'll put in houseplants after. And the jars, are just mason jars because I have tons of them downstairs that my mom had. But you could use, I have one here. It's a Cheese Whiz jar. You could use any kind of jar that you want.
Oh, yeah.
And and I just used gravel from Canadian Tire that I had,
But
did you marbles or whatever?
Did you wash the gravel or anything? Maybe that's just going a little too far, but I would worry about what might be on the gravel, like if there were any salty substances.
This is just plain gravel with no salt added.
Okay.
So I don't think I would have had to, like if it had been one with salt added, then I would have washed, but there was no salt on this.
Right.
It says salt free.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, anyway, I'm just thinking it's just plain ordinary gravel.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we would love to see what you have done for a herb garden. So if you'd like, send us a picture. Maybe we will add it at the end of our videos coming up. Our address is lockdownlunacy@gmail.com.
So from Buckins, Newfoundland, I am Reverend Peggy.
And from Norton, New Brunswick, I'm Rev Dianne. We will see you next week. Until then, be safe.
Be healthy and be
the church.
Bye.
Bye. I'm still recording if you want to add that, and I can put it in.
Pop it in.
Yep. I have the ability.
You have the ability. You have the power. I have the power.
Well, Sunday was Pentecost Sunday.
It was.